Alright everyone, this video is basically going to be about save file editing, how to do it, and the final boss and how to beat it.
Time to figure out what's on this thing.
There was a video about normal secrets, and some explanation on how the basics of the game work that I will link below. It's by Fun Police. Him and the Steam forums have basically come up with all these secrets and figured out everything about it. I'll be going into not the normal secrets, but into the save file secrets and showing you how to alter it, because it's not very well listed and I didn't see a video for this. As most people know, if you're already looking in this video to edit your save file, this is the start of the game. It's the same every time. This bell will appear here, and there's not really much to it. I guess for anyone who hasn't played, I would probably recommend stop watching and watch either at least the original secrets video that I will have in the description by Fun Police, or just play the game for your own, because this will most likely ruin when the game releases the first chapter of the game, which there seems to be 4. Right. So, if you're okay with being spoiled, then, or at least for the first chapter of the game, then continue. If not, just proceed with caution, because we will be doing the secret boss fight, and we'll be showing you different eye states and the glitched eye, and we'll also show you the third talking card. So, basically what this first part is we're going to choose adder. We're going to be making a card that will be able to carry us through the whole, through the whole section. Through the whole final boss. Otherwise, I mean, there's not much more to it. I can show you other things with save file manipulation that can be done, but like how to set certain variables to false, how to alter your card's strength. I was not supposed to grab that, but it'll be fine. So if you're still watching and you are new, I feel now would be a good time to explain how the game's mechanics work. So we have, in this case, we'll hover over the wolf's card, right? The wolf card has two blood drops. It requires that many cards to sacrifice. As you can see, the squirrel card has 0 cost, so you can just play at any time. Most likely, what you'll do is you'll sacrifice 2 squirrels to get this card, but in some cases, you can sacrifice the stoat and the squirrel and play this here. In the bottom left is the damage the card does, and in the bottom right is the HP the card has. Certain cards have special abilities. In this case, the adder has an ability called Touch of Death, which is explained down here. Touch of Death will basically, if the adder attacks any card, it'll die no matter what HP. We will need this card for our special card because the last phase of the fight requires it. Or I guess doesn't require, but it makes it so much easier. The first phase of the secret boss being the hardest, second being an in-between, and third really just taking one turn to win if you have the correct setup. In the game there are items. These items usually are self-explanatory, but there's certain items, like in this one we have squirrels in a bottle. We can use these bottles and we'll get a squirrel for the turn. We'll need this for the final boss. And we have pliers. Pliers, you would pull out your tooth and you would get an extra point of damage on this 10-point scale. The scale has a value of 10. If it goes all the way to the left, you lose. If it goes all the way to the right, you win. If, in this case, like the stoat, stands unopposed, he will attack, deal 1 damage, and it'll adjust the scale. And then if it's all the way to the right, we win. In this case, the wolf will be opposed, so he'll attack the other wolf and kill it. And this turn, we will just win, because there's nothing left. So, obviously you're gonna need to choose the Viper. You're gonna choose Sparrow here as well. And then you're just basically gonna sack the Sparrow immediately. Because we want to limit the number of cards that have abilities, so it forces us to get the Viper. Most likely what's going to happen is you're going to have a 2-cost, I think it'll be 6/6 card that has Touch of Death on it. This run will be in 2 runs, and I'll show you once we get to the first section where you're supposed to lose. Generally, everything that happens. So, this run, you have to use items to be able to win it. Otherwise, it's just not possible. I don't know if you necessarily have to use as many items as I did, but you definitely need to use items, to say the least. I could have done a little better there, but this right here, this turn, will do enough damage and we'll win. So, that'll be that fight. This next fight, you're forced to lose, so just end your turn and the fight will instantly be over. You can win it. I made a video explaining how to win it, but it kind of soft-lock your game. You're expected to, like, lose it. Like, legitimately, just lose the fight. So... honestly, this doesn't matter all that much. You can kind of just buff any of these cards. It's not gonna matter. So, you're gonna lose this fight, just end your turn. You'll lose instantly. Oh, never mind. Not if he puts the Sparrow there, you won't lose instantly. But you'll lose next turn. So, here, once we lose, we're gonna do our first save file editing. So, I'm gonna get up, and I am going to close out the game. Going to open the file. This file is going to be in your Steam directory, basically. If you've done any modding before, you would know where this is for certain games. But basically, you're going to go here. If you have not made a save file yet, like you have not started a run, there will not be a save file here. And even if you have started a run, it won't be exactly called save file yet. It will be called. It will have the word save, but it'll be a weird file format. You're going to click on it, right? It's going to say you can't open it. There should be a drop-down menu. You're going to click on that, right? Actually, I think I can give you an example of this. We're going to open this. You see this? You're going to click on Notepad, and you're going to open it that way. I'm not going to open that, but once you open Notepad, you'll have this set up. You're going to hit F3, and you're going to type in I. You see I state. You're going to change this to 2, and this boss fight we will change here soon enough, but we're gonna go through another run so we can get this card that ends. So we're gonna run this here. While this is loading back up, I honestly would like to thank the people in the forums for putting so much effort and dedication into this game. Obviously, it's very interesting. I mean, they figured out everything they could before with the demo and that, and even without the stuff that shouldn't be in the demo, right? So, as I said before, you're gonna just lose this fight. Same thing, but you'll see something that you would never see normally in the demo since we edited this. That's a lot of L, but now, when I turn around, you'll see the clock answer. The clock will actually always be this answer, but it has a check to make sure so that you have this I state. If you don't have this I state, even if you put in this code, it won't work. So right now, without editing the save file, it is currently impossible to solve this. This right here, there's not much to it. I don't know anything about it, but it'll probably be useful for when we get when we figure out how to actually get the boss fight without just changing the save file. This code, we'll just put it in so we don't have to do it later. Nothing's going to be in there because you're not supposed to know the code. And we'll do this fire, even though it's not going to matter since we're only doing 2 runs. So, from here, you're going to lose your 1 fire. And you're going to hope you get a grizzly bear in this card choice. You're going to go this way. We didn't get a grizzly bear, so I'll just continue. I'll grab the river snapper because I don't want to get another ability. So, that original wolf will be buffing is the wolf we'll hope we'll get, since it will have the highest stats. So. Now you're gonna lose your fight to Prospector. And the last thing I did here, someone asked why you would lose to Prospector. Well, if you kill the Prospector, you do win the fight. There's a lot more to the demo, and the only way to solve that is by losing the fight. Obviously, we have the 3rd talking card, which is the Stunted Wolf. Didn't really go over it, but you get it from the clock. And if you don't notice here, the stoat is also looking substantially more different. Or this is like a 3rd state of the stoat. You kind of already know the 2nd state if you played enough, because he'll become more squarish throughout runs. Kind of like Minecraft Studio Grab, but this is what the stoat becomes. We're gonna lose this fight now, and we're gonna hope for the best. So, you would hope you would get a grizzly bear, but I did not get a grizzly bear. I'll just continue and try to utilize items instead. You really only need a 5 damage creature, or, well, 6 actually would be preferable, but you need 6 damage creature. The HP kind of doesn't matter. See, that's a problem. So now we're gonna have some really bad cards. Okay. So, this is interesting, but I'll continue with it anyway. Questionable. I will most likely just show you how, if you don't get a grizzly bear, to still win the fight. Because we're going to change that guy's data. Because that data is not good enough for us to win. You also, in your starting deck, will no longer have wolves. You will only have the Stunted Wolf. You have lost the 2 wolves that you would normally get at the start, or the Stunted Wolf. Obviously this is the 2nd run. I did not talk much about the bone mechanic. Basically, if your creature dies or you sacrifice a creature, you're gonna get 1 bone, and this card costs 2 bones. So you can play it without sacrificing cards, but you kind of need to sacrifice cards. So now that's the 2nd run. Technically, you're supposed to be able to find the code in here, in the Bullfrog section, but we already knew the code, so yeah. This, I mean, I'm gonna just link the normal secrets. I'd rather not go over them right now. But I'm gonna get the things that I want to get and avoid the things that I don't think will help me. So, surprisingly, we are not going to unlock the ants. I can show you how to do it, but we are only going to want to get this card. In order to unlock the ants, you would do this combination. I'm not going to do it because it'll give me the ant cards, and I don't want them. I want to keep my deck as small as possible, so that way I can get the one card I need as quickly as possible, right? Without having to sift through a bunch of stuff. I forgot to get the figurine, my bad. Didn't get the figurine. And we're gonna continue. So, you're going to choose the cockroach here. It'll always be here. These options are always the same. We need the cockroach for our card, which we'll get from here. The best option here would be boulder, so we're gonna take boulder. Your items can vary depending on what you get, but for right now, we're just going to continue with what we have. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the loss. I don't need to try to fight. I know I'm gonna lose this situation. That's fine. It doesn't really amount to anything anyway. So this card, this section of cards will always have the card you made. You're always going to choose this card over other cards. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the save file and close out the game, and we're going to alter that card's stats since its stats are not good enough. You're gonna put F3 and put current, run. This will take you to the cards you just got. You're going to get exclamation mark death base card. You're gonna put it in here, push find next, scroll down, and we're going to change this attack stat to, in this case, we'll just make it 6/6. You're going to save this, and you're going to start your run again. So, from here, you're just going to start the run. And technically, all you really need now is to just boost this card a little bit. You don't necessarily have to, but the more you boost it, the better. See, the card stat changed. I'm just gonna stand up so he stops talking about it. So we're gonna go through 2 more fights. Yeah, we'll be fine. So. You can also change the blood adjustment if you need to, but I'm not going to anyway. I'm going to accept him conceding. because it'll just go by faster. And we're gonna go this way and get our sacrifice. I'm just gonna choose a 1-cost card. Wow, that is a really good cost card to get. That'll make this boss fight extraordinarily easy. And we are going to give this make it unkillable, so when it would die, it'll just come back to our hands. This will be helpful for the first part of the fight. We're going to end our turn there. Going to do this, and we'll win 2 turns. This doesn't matter. And fight is over. So we're gonna go to the trapper, and then we're just gonna boost our stats for the guy again, and that'll be that. Honestly, I'm just gonna take the 1 free one, because I'm going to remove this in general, so we can actually get the cards we need. Okay, we're gonna boost this, and then we're going to set the boss fight equal to true, so we can fight the secret boss. So, now, with that done, you're gonna close out the game again. We're gonna open the save file. We're going to put in boss. We're going to set this value equal to true, and we're also going to find our current run. My bad, there's no space. This is actually important. So, and we are going to find the pet here. We're going to remove that, remove the lines, and remove that, comma. And we are going to save this, because the pet hair, it's not going to help us. It's not a sacrificable card. All it is a card that we can use to stop an attack, but with the way this boss fight's going to be, it's going to be different. So, now that we set this equal to true, I'm just going to let this cinematic play out. So, you're going to sit down. And this is basically the final boss of the last section. The music's going to be very loud, so I make it drowned out. We did not get the card we needed to start off with, but I just got transferable. We actually didn't get either of the cards we wanted, funny enough. But it'll work out in this situation, because we can just use the fact that this guy's gonna block, and he's gonna block here, so the guy can't do anything. Also got the skink, so I'm just gonna let this run again. on my tooth. Okay. We're gonna let this run. Alright. I'm going to alter my save file again to just have the cards that we want. So, if this happens to you or you have some problem, just alter it. What's going on? So, we don't want... Really, we just want this and the cat. The Stinkbug. So we don't want the bullfrog. You draw 3 cards, so... We don't want the opossum either. Yeah. So we'll just have these cards. We're gonna exit out. And we're gonna save this. We're gonna start the secret boss again. Alright. So, the cinematic will still play out, but this time we've altered it so we can most likely win this. Because we'll probably draw the card we need first round. And if we do, we'll just be able to play it and win the first set. So. As I said, the first phase is the hardest phase, with the second being mediocre, and so on. So, see, this is exactly what you would want. So, I'm going to play this, play the cat here, play this, sack here, insta-kill this guy. Cards that are unique to say the least. We're just going to stall for this section. As you saw, our card was played, so I'm going to put a boulder here and move this guy here. So oh, that's what that does. Well, you still can't attack because the boulder's in the way. We are just going to spawn our card and win this phase here. And next will come the last phase. and that's why we need the insta-death. So, from here, you're just gonna draw, and that'll be the end of this. That's the secret boss right there. There's a little more to the game, but that's basically it. So, I'm just gonna leave the video at that. I hope you have a good day.
Did I just...
And
I think I
I'll
just
let
beat
this
him.
run out.
Oh.
There you go. We now turn this guy originally in to this card. So I'm just gonna explore this room a little bit. I'm gonna assume these are all the bodies. That would be the best view. And we're gonna just take it. I cannot see a thing. Going to back to the start screen, and I think this will be here now. Now you can select this, but nothing will happen. Mainly because the code is not implemented yet. So that is how to edit your save file, certain ways to edit your save file, and the final boss. I'll show you some other interesting things with editing your save file. We'll close this game out now. So obviously you saw I did some very quick card manipulation, but there's other things that are useful, like, where is it? Not your data or learn mechanics. Obviously your current cards is useful because you can just remove cards like I did until you get the cards you want. You can adjust certain cards like cost and everything. As you see, there's their ideas and everything. You can change the number of currencies you have, your lives, the max amount of lives. You can change the difficulty modifier, which I'll play with. I kind of am interested to see if this would make the game harder or not. This, I think you can just turn on true, but you have to start a thing, so you can just skip the intro entirely. As Dave said, as I said, change it to 2 so you can activate, but this one's actually really good. You're going to want to set this to true because in later runs, you'll be able to hit the thing more. You'll be able to use the survivors more. But if you give them the ringworm, which is in the original video, you'll kill the survivors, and you can just upgrade for free with no threat. Anything else that I think is interesting? I don't think so. I think those are generally what most people would need. Scenery, random scene, past runs. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna need anything else. You may want to change your skull teeth to have more teeth in it. Same thing with Survivor's Dead, but I think this is past run. So that's basically all you need from your save file. If you enjoyed the video, do whatever you want. I would just utilize this information if you want to learn more about the game. You can look for the file for yourself now that you know how to get it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.